In this video, we are going to set our grid system in our web page, and for that, let's start with the CSS page. Here, I am going to use the class name of div tracker, and I'm going to set the display as grid, and grid template columns. I'm going to use the function repeat, and in one row I need 7 columns as representing 7 days of the week. For that, I'm using the number of columns within a row as 7, and I'm going to set its size as 1 fr. It is one fraction. This fraction is a flexible unit of measurement in CSS Grid. It is used to divide the available space in the grid container in proportional to fractions. So one fraction, which stands for one fraction of the available space in the grid container. Then next, I'm going to set a gap using the variable name spacing, and I'm going to set the max width as 400 px and width as 100%. So this max width, which means that this is maximum limit for the width of an element. So when the container width goes beyond 400 px, the element will not go beyond 400 px. So in this case, the container is the body and the element is the grid system. And when the container width is less than 400 px, the element width can shrink to fit its container by setting the width as 100%. Next, what we are going to do is creating a tracker system, and which will be done in the script.js file. And for that, here I am going to create a constant variable called tracker, and using document dot get element document dot get element by id, and using the id tracker. So I set it. Then I'm going to create another constant variable for day in week, and I'm going to set this value as 7 here. Now I'm going to start a for loop here. So for that, for let I equal to 1, then I less than days in week, then increment I plus plus. So it's plus plus. Then next, inside the loop within the grid system, I am going to set each columns of the grid system by creating a div, and its class name as div with an inner HTML, which consists of a toggle, div, and a span, which is showing the number of days. And finally, I am going to append this in the tracker grid system. So first, I am going to create a constant variable called daydiv const here I am going to use the document dot create element, and inside this I'm going to create this div element. So I'm going to set the dative class name as day. Then dative dot inner HTML. I'm going to set its inner HTML, and for that here I'm going to use this div tag with the class name toggle and a span tag, and inside the span tag I'm going to provide the day number as follows. So we set the dative, then I'm going to set this dative inside our tracker grid system using the append child function or method in our JavaScript. That's it. Then let's check our site. Now our days are set like this, and next we are going to style this dative in our CSS file, and for that select dative. I'm going to set its display as flex, and flex direction column, and align items at the center, justify content at the center. I'm going to provide a padding of 10 px, and I'm going to provide a border radius of 5 px. After that I'm going to set the box shadow. So in this I'm going to set the horizontal offset as 0 and vertical offset as 4 px, and the blur radius as 6 px with the shadow color, setting this with RGBA as black with an alpha of 0.2. Next we are going to, let's check our website how this is looking right now. Yeah, so the boxes are added with a shadow. Next what I need is, when I hover over this, I need a transition for this each div within the grid system. For that I'm going to use the transition parameter, and in transition parameter I'm going to use the transform property. With a 0.2 second transition, and after that I'm going to use the pseudo class dot date over. After that I'm going to use the transform and scale function with the 1.05 scale effect. So now let's check. When I hover over this, there is a scaling effect on this. Next I'm going to style the toggle button on it. So for that I'm going to select the class toggle. After I'm going to set its width as 24 px and height as 24 px, and background color, I'm going to provide this background color using the variable as highlight color. So let's have a check. Now it's looking like this. Now I want to make it round, and for that I'm going to set the border radius as 50%. So for that border radius 50%. So let's check it again. Now it's round. I want to set the position relative, then cursor as pointer, and add a transition. I want to make transition of all the things in it with a 0.3 second transition. So that's it. So now I look at it. This is a transition. Next, when I click on it, I want to set it as complete and change its color. And for that part, first we have to get into the JavaScript file, script.js file. So here I'm going to select this tracker, then .add event listener. When I click on this tracker grid within this div, I'm going to have the following changes. So that's what the idea about this code. And for that, let's use the click. Then I'm going to create an anonymous function with an event object E, and here I'm going to create a constant variable called target, and using the event object E, I'm going to use a target function. Next, process function to get the child of this tracker within the day div. So I'm going to select the day div here. Okay, we selected it. Then if we click it on the target, I mean within the day div, which means which both include both this toggle part, div and span. Okay, so if I click it anywhere within it, so for that I am going to give the target name here. I'm going to have the following changes. First, I'm going to select the class list name, toggle the class list name to complete for the day div. And for that, let's select the target, then class list, then toggle, and inside it I need complete class. Then I also want to change the class of toggle class into complete, and for that I'm going to select this target dot query selector, and selecting the toggle class, and from toggle class selecting the class list, then toggle function. Inside toggle function I'm going to give this complete class. So we set this. Next, what we are going to do is I want when I click on it, I want a change. I want to show the change through colors. So I'm going to do this in the CSS part. And as for the day div, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this day div dot. When I click on it, it become complete. The class become complete. So I'm going to give this complete class here. And I'm going to change its background color using the variable and set it to primary color. Also, I'm going to change the color of the textures using the color property as white. And as for the toggle, when I click on it, it becomes complete. So toggle has to change to complete class, and when it is changed to complete class, I want to change the background color as white. Now let's check whether it is working or not. So when I'm clicking on it, now it's changing the native color, also the color of the toggle. Okay. Now we set our CSS Grid system with the proper transition of color for completion of the habit. In the next video, we are going to check out how we are going to set our progress bar.